I'm Sean White, and today we're meditating on stand-up paddleboarding. So the idea of going to a gym and working out does not appeal to me in the least. I know a lot of people that do it. I know personal trainers, and it works for them, and that's great. I'm always trying to get you guys to think about what works best for you. For me, if I'm being physically active, I prefer being outdoors and preferably somewhere in nature, kind of like I am right now. This is why I like cycling, I like hiking, I like kayaking, and I like stand-up paddleboarding a lot. Right, I'm sitting on my board right now in the Raritan Bay, just off the coast of Keansburg, New Jersey. And paddleboarding is something I got into about 6 or 7 years ago, and I absolutely love it. It's a great low-impact cardio workout that it works your whole body. It's really good for your balance, which is something that we really need to be mindful of as we get older. And it gets you out into nature. And there's so many health benefits of being out in nature that you can't go wrong with it. So now you might be the type of person that is going, oh my God, that sounds great. I'm going to run out and I'm going to buy a paddleboard and I'm going to go do that. Well, you know what? Let's just rewind a few seconds. Okay, so the one thing that I would recommend everybody, before you run out and buy a paddleboard, if you've never done it before, is try it before you buy it. If you know someone who's got an extra paddleboard that they can lend you, that is one of the best ways because it doesn't really cost you anything. If not, find some place that rents them. During the summer months, I work as a paddleboard instructor in addition to health coaching. And I run summer camps with kids, and so I work at the Oceanport Paddle Club based in Oceanport, New Jersey, and we rent boards. It's really not that expensive, right? It's like $25 an hour. This way you can get out and you can try it first, and you can see. Now, like I said, I teach people how to paddleboard, and I found there's generally 3 different types of people. There's the ones who immediately realize that this is not for them. And they're never going to do it again. And then have the majority of people, I would say, enjoy it, but probably not enough to go out and buy their own equipment. And then the last group, are people that try it, absolutely love it immediately, and decide that, yeah, this is what they want to do. They're going to run out and they're going to buy one, everything. So definitely try it out before you commit financially into doing this. Now, the other thing that I would strongly recommend is taking a lesson with somebody. I'm a very big proponent of taking lessons the first time, like even if you're going to a gym, working with a personal trainer, if you're starting a diet, work with a dietitian. Working with an instructor can make the difference between a lifelong hobby and something that you do once and never do it again, right? If you've never paddleboarded before, there's a lot of nuances to it. There's a lot of little variables. There's a lot of things that you might not think of. Working with an instructor is going to help you out with that. It's going to make it a much more pleasurable experience. Everybody falls down in the beginning, right? So an instructor is going to tell you how, why you fell and what you could be doing differently. And then different things to look out for, like you might be hearing the jet skier in the background. What to do if a jet skier comes by you. What happens if a boat comes by? What to do when the wind kicks up. All these things that can help keep you safe out on the water and make it a more pleasurable experience. So that's my first recommendation. Try it out before you make any sort of financial commitment. Take a lesson if you can. It'll make things so much better for you. All right, so you've tried it out, you love it, you want to buy a board. Now, the biggest question that people ask me is, should I get an inflatable or should I get a hard board? There's pros and cons of each. Before we discuss those, let's discuss the shape and size of the board. If you go with a longer board, a wider board, a thicker board, it's going to be more stable. If you're just starting out, you might want a more stable board, right? If you go with something that's a little shorter, a little narrower, a little thinner, It's going to be a little bit quicker in the water. It's going to have better maneuverability, right? So you're sacrificing that stability though. So these are things that you need to look at first, is how, what are my needs on a board? So think about that. The shape of the board greatly impacts things too. If you got a more rounded nose, then you're going to be pushing water. It's going to be harder to get more speed on it. If it's got something that more of like a pointed nose, it's going to cut through a little bit better. You're going to get a little bit more speed. It's going to break through the waves better. So think about what your needs for a board in regards to being on a board is first, before you decide what type of board to buy. Now, an inflatable board, I have an inflatable and I have a hard board, right? And they're different shapes, different thicknesses, they serve different purposes. So inflatables are great if you don't have enough space to store a 12-foot hard board, right? If you got a small apartment or you just don't have a place in your house, they're unwieldy, right? They're large. I have racks on the side of my shed that I can put stuff on. So if you can't fit a hard board somewhere, then definitely go with an inflatable. The downside of the inflatable, though, is the fact that you have to inflate them and deflate them every single time. So if you're going to get an inflatable board, make sure you get an electric pump. It's going to make your life so much easier. Now, hard boards, I love them, but you have to have space for them, and you have to think about the transportation of them, right? You might have to put a rack, on your vehicle. You might have to get foam blocks. It makes it a little bit more difficult in regards to transporting it. Once you get racks and everything, you're all good and you're fine and everything like that. So think about that also when you're buying the board. You can't think about it in regards to which one's better, because it also comes down to cost and quality. My inflatable board is super solid, super stable. I spent the money on it though. I'm also out and I do this all the time. If you go with a cheaper board, it's not going to last as long, it's not going to be as good, and that's for both inflatables and for hard boards. Now, what I would recommend you do is, whichever one you want to go with, hardboard or inflatable, I would start by going with a more inexpensive, stable board just to start out on. Unless you really feel like you got it and you're good, right? I would rather spend less money on something that's stable, that got me really good, lets me get the hang of it better, and then I can sell that board somewhere, and then I can spend the money on a better board and go that route with it. These are just things to think about when you're thinking about like buying a board. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is safety, and this is paramount. This is why I'm saving the best for last, so to speak. You want to be safe out on the water. So I don't care what board you get, I don't care what paddle you get, make sure you get a good personal flotation device. I have multiple ones. I have vest ones, I have ones that are belt ones that inflate with a pull of a cord and a CO2 cartridge. Make sure you have a good flotation device. It's also the law. You need to have a personal flotation device on your vessel at all times. If you have kids under the age of 13, they need to be wearing them all the time. If you're an adult, you need to have it on your board, and preferably wearing them, because things happen, right? Like you can hear it in the background. You can hear like the jet skis going by, boats going by. You hear it a lot of like people that were experienced swimmers and experienced paddlers, and something happened. So you want to make sure that you're really, really safe when you're on your board. Now, the other thing to take into consideration is tides. What is the tide doing? Is it going in? Is it going out? Are you in a river? Are you in a lake? Are you on the bay? Are you in the ocean? Really kind of need to know what the tides are doing, and also need to know what the winds are doing. Like right now, I got a very light wind going on. I got some waves. You might be getting a little, seasick watching this. We got a little bit of waves. Also, the boats going by are creating a little bit more waves. The stronger the wind, the more the waves are going to kick up. The stronger the wind, the more it's going to push you around. So always be mindful of which direction you're going. A lot of times people go, oh my God, I don't want to paddle into the wind. I'm going to paddle, with the wind. Well, guess what? Now you have to come back into the wind, and now you're tired. think of things like this. You know, this is why I said, you know, taking lessons, your instructor is going to point out stuff like this. They're going to point out things to look out for, like jet skis, like boats, like the wind shifting. It can be with you 1 second and then boom, like on a dime, switch on you. So you have to be mindful of all these things. Being safe is the ultimate thing, right? Yeah, this is fun. It's great being out here. And this is something you can do year round, but you got to be safe about it. So there you go. I hope this is giving you a little bit to think about in regards to stand-up paddleboarding. You still have half a summer left, so get out, enjoy yourself, get on the water, have fun. I highly recommend it. So if you like this video, click the like button. If you want to hear more of what I got to say, then subscribe, turn on notifications, find out when new videos are coming out, and leave me some comments down below. Are you a paddler? Are you someone that's been thinking about it? Somebody wanted to get out? Let me know. Love to have a conversation with you. So until we speak again, be well, be safe, and be kind to everybody.